Never Hip a Lame podcast.
All right, once again, we're back with another episode, Never Hip a Lame podcast. I'm your host, Tristan Tarantino, and as always, we try to make sure that we bring y'all most influential and artists and brands of this time. And today, I got one of the big homies with me, Bucky Malone.
My nigga,
what's going on, bro?
What's going on, dog?
How you doing? Good. Hey, good, man. Honestly, truly, I've been wanting to sit down and talk to you for a while. Honestly, since I peeped the OG Ron C, Chalk and Screw jump, and then of course the Source jump. So when it was that, I was like, I've never known someone locally to get those two accomplishments, and that was one of the things that I recognized. And I was like, okay, I gotta pick this man brain. I gotta see how that worked. But first and foremost, let's first get into the whole fact of what was it when it came to your style of rap. When it comes to what you put through your music, like what was the main push for that? What was your main driving force? Because the way you rap and the way that you bring a lot of your shit together, I'm not gonna say it's so far left, but it's definitely different a lot of times from what the norm is today, as far as what you are bringing to the table.
I say just growing up, you know what I mean, being from Virginia, and I'm from Northern Virginia at that, it's kind of just a weird place because, you know, we're the South, you know what I'm saying? Believe it or not. But it's like, you know, you go in different parts of Virginia, you might get a different taste, a different flavor, and be like, damn, this shit got a city feel to it. But then you might go a little further out and it's the country. So it's just like Virginia itself as a whole is just a diverse state. So with that, it's like a melting pot as far as styles, sounds. So just growing up, man, I really just had access to every type of music, you know what I mean? Like every type of genre. So just listening to different things, man, it just gave me a different type of influence. I ain't want to just stick to one thing. I kind of dibbled and dabbled in everything. And then when you really look at the pioneers from Virginia, they're really known for being different. You got Pharrell, you got Missy Elliott, Timbaland, and it's like them three people I just named alone is very different from each other. They got their own style. So at a young age, it just made me want to identify with myself even more and tap in with my inner self and just do shit my way.
And I know for me personally, like, and E will tell you, like, when it comes to Virginia and just overall as a state, like, I don't think anybody really recognizes how much talent, both from a musical level, on an athletic level, like, comes out of that area. And I think it's one of those things where musically, y'all are a force to be reckoned with. Musically, there's a part in, I'm not even going to say hip-hop, music in general, when you name those three people, when you think about it, where y'all ran that shit. And now it's just coming to fruition where more and more artists are coming out, more and more artists are being respected for that that influence, or that more so lack of being influenced by other people, other things. Like I would say, out of the DMV form, y'all may be the only part of that acronym that really just is its own thing and does its own thing. Like y'all really
for sure.
make it y'all shit. And I mean, don't worry about it.
Our counterparts don't make it easy for us. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? DC been doing their thing, been on the map. Maryland been on the map. You know what I'm saying? And with VA, it's like, you know, the stigma, like, for years, it's always been like, oh, it's some country niggas.
Yeah.
Like,
because for a lot of people, it stopped at Tyson's, and then they say, fuck everything in the middle, you know? And they go straight to, like, the beach.
Shit, for most people, it don't even stop at Tyson's. Shit, it stop at, like, maybe like Alexandria or some shit.
See,
like Tyson's is a field trip for some niggas. Like, oh, we about to get fly real quick. You know what I mean? Like, but they still like, we don't give a fuck about. They don't give a fuck about those Tyson's. They like,
but niggas will go to King's Dominion though. That's the one they'll go.
Oh yeah, it's out the way. It's out the way though.
Out the way, but they'll go.
Take their little skinny little legs.
And go straight to King's Dominion.
Ain't nobody gonna see them.
Nothing at all. But I did bring up the whole Source thing, and that was the one thing I wanted to get into about, because I grew up in New York, and magazines and just overall the recognition from stuff like The Source, Double XL, things of that nature. I grew up with that, and I still think that is the one thing that was a great checks and balance when it came to who you need to be looking out for and who is making their name known. And so, first and foremost, that's a big up. Like I told you when you got that joint, I said, hey bro, like that's a huge look, bro. I appreciate it. Especially for the fact that it did. So honestly, talk to us about how that came about and what has that done, obviously, now when it came to how you make your music and just overall the certain rooms or doors that's open for you when it came to getting that recognition.
Shit, well, I ain't gonna front, like, you know, any hip-hop enthusiast, like, being in the Source, XXL, any publication, it's a big fucking deal. Especially the Source, because they like the OGs of this shit for real. But the first time, it's crazy. The first time I ever was featured by the Source might have been like 4 years ago. And IDK, shout out IDK. He had just randomly tweeted my wish list visual at the time. And that shit just went crazy. It went viral. A lot of people started following me and shit from that. And then maybe like a week later, Source ended up just like featuring it. They ain't even hit me up. They just put shit out. Like,
yeah, boom. We got something.
Like, oh, okay. Right. You know what I mean? And then from there, I've made like little random appearances on the Source. So it's like, okay, the writers over there showing a lot of love, and I appreciate it. And then recently, I made the artist to watch list for 2021. So that shit kind of like was a full circle moment for me, because it was like, wow, 4 years ago I made my like debut in this shit, like just off of visual. You know what I'm saying? And then here we are, like, now they got me on the artist to watch list and shit like that. Like, they still rocking with me after all these years. So, yeah, it's definitely love.
And I think you talked about that. I want to say, I don't know how far back, but somebody did play your song in the background of the IG store, or was it a mention?
Who you talking about?
I can't remember who it was, but I wanted to ask about. Like, I'm not sure.
I ain't gonna lie, that type of shit be happening. Like, a lot
but it was somebody that I was like, oh, they done tapped in. Like,
I think you talking about K Tronada.
Yeah, it was K Tronada. Thank you. I drew a blank, but it was K Tronada. And me, I love what he does with his instrumentation. He's a legend. He's different. Like, so how did that happen?
He a goat, but shit. To tell you the truth, bro, it's crazy. Like, I don't even know when I fell on Brody radar, you know what I'm saying? Because I remember maybe 2018, I had a project on the way called Futuristic Pimp Shit 2. It was the second part to a classic I had dropped a while back. While I was teasing that project, I had leaked the artwork for it because my homie Darius Marino did the artwork. He's a very popular artist, you know what I'm saying? He painted it, all that shit was crazy. And he had posted the cover on his page. And when he posted the cover, that shit kind of like went viral. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, it's my album cover, nigga, and I'm watching like niggas like ASAP Bari, K Tronada, they all liking the cover. So I'm like, so I'm like, damn, these niggas don't even know like this is my shit, and they fucking with it. So like, I say around that time, I was just noticing little shit like. My nigga D might post a cover, like, helping me promote. Okay. And he would like, every time D would post something about me, it was like, he would like that shit. I would notice that shit. Other little random motherfuckers would be liking that shit. Like, Pete Barry likes some shit a couple times. So I'm like, niggas is seeing this shit, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's maybe where it started, maybe where he got familiar, just him peeping the artwork and getting intrigued. Okay. But maybe like a few months ago, like, I didn't even fucking know. Like, somebody, I think my homegirl had hit me up. Like, sent me his Instagram story, and I'm like, the fuck? Like, I thought it was an accident or something. You know what I mean? So like, I went to this shit, and the nigga had my song. I guess he like added the song. You add songs to the Instagram story. Yeah, so he added my shit on there. So I was like, oh shit, that's fire. Like, you know what I mean? I reposted it and shit like that. I even hit him. He ain't hit me back yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm still waiting on that. I hit him and shit, just showing some love, because I mean, just. What other artists don't know, just little shit like that helps. It gives you a look, bro. That shit was hella small, you know what I mean? And like, motherfuckers was blowing my line up all day off that shit, so it made my day. And then he posted the shit again, so I'm just like, alright, this nigga having fun with this shit. Shout out to K Tronada, man.
Yeah. And I think honestly, truly, like you talk about it, like you just said, it's one of those things where he didn't have to do it, but it helped. And it helps, and you never know moving forward how that's gonna help, because I think there's a space where when you're trying to get at the level they're at, and then they're at the level you want to be, not to say they forget, but they don't. Sometimes people forget like how a small thing like that is literally what all they were looking for when they was at that level.
Nah, for real.
All they was looking for was like somebody noticeable or somebody with some type of notoriety to just, hey yo, check this out, like this is where it's at, fact. and it skyrockets you, and it makes it everything.
It's a few cats I done met in this game that like, showed mad love, gave a nigga a look they didn't even have to. You know what I'm saying? Fucking from Currency to IDK to even my nigga Young Simi out in Florida, shout out Young Simi, like, these is niggas that, you know what I'm saying, they ain't have to give a nigga a look, but they fuck with a nigga, so, just when niggas give off that energy, you know what I'm saying, it's always respected, I always remember that, I'll never forget that.
It's honestly, like I tell, E and everything, and like I said to you, like, just the fact that y'all artists or anybody wants to come through and sit down and talk to me is one of those things where I get it like, okay, y'all must notice something. Y'all must see what we're trying to do and seeing that. And I don't take none of it for granted. I think anybody in this game should. I think we would be 10 times more progressive in the things that we want to do if we just realize, like, yo, one hand washes the other. Like, it doesn't matter who bigger than the other or who got more. Like, it's just like, hey, if you mess with the product, if you like that jump, just tap in and see how you can help it, see how you can make it thrive, and then it'll be reciprocated back to you. So that's just one of the things I took from it. When I saw that, I was like, okay, like, people are starting to notice you in a way where even though it's small, you can put that on the board and be like, okay, I see it. Like, I see where it's about to go.
And you know what I mean, me again, you know what I mean, in the beginning, little shit like that used to happen, and my younger stuff would be like, oh, nigga, don't sweat that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't trip. Like, that's what's supposed to happen. And I would just let that shit, like, kind of blow into those, like, blow into them. What's the phrase? Whatever it's called. I just be like, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, that's what's up. But I just be like, but nowadays I'm realizing, like, nah, like, everything is
rare,
portfolio based. If somebody shouts you out, show you some love, nigga, acknowledge it. Shit, I mean, you don't have to be show and tell. You don't have to show other motherfuckers. It don't matter because you know. But I mean, it's all about building a profile. So it's just
it's like we were saying.
I talk about it more. I bring it up more. Like, shit used to happen to me, and I would forget to mention it type shit. Now I'd be like, oh, I did do that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I did meet this person. Whatever.
And it's crazy because you're right. You don't always have to be show and tell, but you also want to make sure that you're enough out there in that internet world where
exactly
if somebody just comes across your page or somebody just happens to hear about it and then go in and click that link and they go.
I had to learn that the hard way, bro, because I had a famous name for years. Like, I feel like niggas knew my name, they didn't know my face, because you know what I'm saying. I look up the '90s cats, like '90s hip hop era. Like, it wasn't none of this social media shit. It wasn't everything in your face. It wasn't everything show and tell. It was mysterious.
It was
for
a
real.
process. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
It's a process.
In the earlier stages, when I was, you know, getting my career kicked off, I really wasn't the most sociable type of person. I wasn't really always out and about, but I realized the importance of that shit as time went by. So now I just try to make more conscious efforts. Like, ain't no telling what these motherfuckers think of me. I'm all mysterious, so I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, show off my character a little more.
And it helps with the brand because, you know, it allows them to see you as a person versus as an entity.
Right.
Because I think that's the one thing that, especially in this social media, internet age, where we forget, like, y'all are people too. Y'all are artists. Exactly. Yes, y'all are giving us a product, but at the same time, you know, a lot of y'all are bearing y'all soul. A lot of y'all are telling y'all truth, and it's a vulnerable process.
People buy it to you. At the end of the day, they not trying to just buy my album, listen to this. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? Who are you? What you about?
I don't know nothing. So, how many times I hear this a day? Like, buy mine, tap in, listen. But I don't know. I don't have that personal. You feel me? And it helps.
The people we love them just for being them. Like, no disrespect, I love Snoop Dogg. That nigga was in my top 5, but nigga, you can't say like his new albums is bumping like a Doggy Style or that album. But it's like, nigga, so what? We're not expecting that. We're not putting that pressure on him.
Because we see him, we see what he is, and we've seen him for so long that it's like, yo, regardless of what he dropped, I'm gonna tap in.
Exactly.
I'm gonna listen.
His contributions have already been locked in. He's who he is. It's like, we gotta appreciate. I feel like we just gotta appreciate each other more, man.
Like, I know as a Lakers fan, I be seeing what Snoop say about us, and I be like, he not wrong. God, he not wrong. But I be knowing this, be like, yo, just imagine like Snoop saying, hey, Clippers better than y'all. You gotta get y'all shit together. Like,
shit, I mean,
but it's true,
right
and
now.
You feel it, and I know they see it because, like you said, like he's been around.
Shit, what time that game come on? It's today.
It's today. Yeah, listen, I hope Luka gets them. Please do. I hope you do. But that's just because I don't want another LA team going farther than my Lakers.
Fuck the playoffs.
Yeah. But speaking of that, like that tap in, OG Ron C. I know for me, and I know a lot of people, I have a love for music, but I definitely have a love for the chopped and screwed. And he is probably one of my more favorite DJs when it comes to that. So I'm not gonna lie. Again, with the source, that was one of them things. I was like, yo, this man Bucky got OGC over. What? How did he? What? So for me, because I'm so used to him doing his own stuff,
right,
or artists on a bigger scale album, you know, do that. I've never really seen him do more local or even just more of a lesser known artist at the time. That so when you like, again, where did that come from? How did that relationship even happen?
It started with SlimK.
Okay.
DJ SlimK. That's like the OG even to this day. That's the big homie. We dropping Lord Malone, Chop Not Slop. Pretty soon. He chopping the whole thing, just him. But it started with SlimK, you know what I'm saying? Just me being a music lover, enthusiast, and shit like that. I used to always follow like his tapes, his mixes, and shit like that. And he probably don't even remember this shit. It's probably like 2010, 2011, around that time. Around that time, like 2011. And he was just going crazy, bro, just dropping his mixes and shit like that. And man, I just started reaching out. I low-key probably was pestering this nigga at first. I was like, bro, like, I'm from VA. Niggas is not fucking with me. Like, fuck with me. Like, I was really in his face. And he was already fucking with some of my homies. Like, he had the Purple Children mixtape series with my nigga Rob Gallardo. And my right hand, Crown Marquise, he was, like, flaming that shit. Like, he had a few tracks on there. And, like, if people don't know, Purple Children, it's like a mixtape series with, like, the hottest songs of the year. From the most hottest underground niggas to the hottest top dogs. They hottest single, they Chop Not Slop that shit. Rob makes the track list. Rob Gallardo, he makes the whole track list, picks the songs and shit like that. So when I'm discovering all of this, I'm like, man, this shit is crazy. Like, I gotta get down with this shit. Cause I seen what it was before it even, like, got to its fullest potential. I'm like, yo, cause I ain't gonna hold you, bro. Like, growing up, I was a kid that used to get the CDs every Tuesday when they dropped. And nigga, I remember having the Mike Jones and the Paul Wall albums. If niggas remember, them shits came with the Chop Not Slop version, or the Chop and Screw version, Michael Watts and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It came with that shit. So I felt like that is what got me on Mike Jones and shit. Paul Wall, they got me on that shit. Slim Thug, they got me on it early. Come to think about it, Still Tippin' might have been the first instrumental I officially recorded the song on. Like
that's a hard
that was like 2004.
Yeah, that's
like 2005.
You was swinging for the fences with that one.
You know what I'm saying?
That's still a classic instrumental.
I had my sister literally press. We was on voice record, you know, the computer and shit. Nigga, she recorded me on that shit. That was the first time I ever made a song, my nigga, on Still Tippin'. So like, Houston, Texas influence, that shit has always been instilled in my music, instilled in me, because I grew up on it. Grew up like Lil Flip was my nigga. I fucked with Lil Flip. So, you know, the first crack, once I seen it was like, oh, arms reach, like, oh shit, I might be able to work with him. I just kept shooting my shot, bro, and he started fucking with me, man, and we've been locked in ever since. My first show in South by Southwest was with Ron C. and Michael Watts. So the Chop Stars, really, they embraced me as a whole, especially being from DMV. It's you know how many Houston niggas probably trying to get put on by these niggas, and they decided to fuck with me. I'm from Virginia. Way, You know what I'm saying? I mean, I won't say too much. I almost got a record deal because of my affiliation with SlimK. So it's like, that shit is deeper than rap, bro. Like, they really done solidified a nigga name out here.
I know, for me, because I remember I got first put on the SlimK. What you want to see? They did I'm a huge Sade fan because of my father.
Nice and slow mixes.
Boy, I heard that. Shits. I heard that, and then I ran the Aaliyah one, and I was like, oh, he know what he doing. Because I think a lot of people don't understand, when you listen to Chopped and Screwed, there are some people that do it correctly, and then there are some people where you just be like, nah, like, why did you do it? And SlimK, like, he has this way where it flows. Like, honestly, sometimes he do it better than the original song. Like,
nah, facts. And jamming.
Yeah, like, he do it better. And then you just be like, I don't even want to really hear the original. I mean, I'd rather just hear that.
I would say this, like, the Chop Stars they the originals. You feel what I'm saying? That's why it's so good. That's why you got Ron C, you got SlimK, you got Candlestick, Holly Grove, and there's plenty of other DJs. There's plenty more of DJs smashing shit over there. So, and it's like, they was out here, you know what I'm saying, when Michael Watts was out here killing shit, they was out here like, they knew got the blue, so it's like, nigga, they know the origins of this shit, they from the 8, so that's why it's so pure. It's people from other regions trying this shit out. I see the slow and reverb shit popping now. It's like, everybody taking their own crack at it, you know, and that's their contribution to the game, for real.
And I appreciate anybody who does take their crack at it. I just know, for me, I'm just going to stick to that.
Nah, for sure, me too. I fuck with Chop Not Slop, nothing against the slow and reverb
nothing wrong
boys, but
it's a different type of purity. It's a different type of thing that you said. So now, honestly, truly, because we're getting out of COVID, we're getting all of that. What now moving forward is your main focus when it comes to your making music and putting it out? Because I think everybody, quote unquote, had to put a time out on whatever they want to do. Obviously,
shit, I didn't.
But a lot of artists didn't, and I appreciate that y'all didn't, because I've always felt like this would have been the perfect time to just put out, play around, try new things, whatever, because you got everybody's attention. Everybody in the house, they on the internet, they're doing it. So during that COVID time, what was some of the main things that you now learned and took away from it that now you're going to apply now that the world is back outside?
Shit, I'm not even gonna lie. Like even pre-COVID, like 2019, like going into 2019, I kind of told myself like, because I've always produced music in large volumes. Like, I'm used to dropping more than one project a year. Because not because I feel like I have to do that, just because that's how easy it is. Every time I go to the studio, I fuck around. I'm walking out with tracks, you know what I'm saying? So
I appreciate that, because I hate waiting sometimes.
You know what I mean? I think
sometimes, it works for some people, but no, y'all.
Like, when you love this shit, like, it's like, you want to drop. That shit killing you not to drop. So, you know what I'm saying? 2019... You know what I'm saying? After having, like, different management situations and shit, like, for a few years going on, 2019, I was, like, officially a free agent for real, like, on the managing side of shit. And I was just like, man, it's been a long time that I really just did what I wanted. I kind of was just taking everybody's advice and just, you know, following protocol. Like, all right, they coming up with the plan, I'm going to go with it. But, you know, as an artist, it's like, you know what you're supposed to be doing. You know, like, nah, this ain't what I'm supposed to be doing right now. So, like, going into, like, right before 2020 hit, boom, I'm just like, I gotta flood these niggas, man. It's been a minute since I really flood these niggas, you know what I'm saying? So, boom, top of the year, I dropped my Just Vibe EP. Before I even dropped the EP, I had dropped White Runts off of the EP, and that shit just went crazy. You know what I mean? The video was getting a lot of love. And, you know, the EP is already fucking done. Like, I'm already knowing what I'm sitting on. But I knew White Runts was just that shit. So I was just like, I'm just going to drop the video and make niggas wait until this shit drop to go hit the single. You know what I'm saying? So I did that, and that just kicked the year off, bro. Like, shit just was crazy at the very top of the year. I ended up dropping Just Vibe Part 2 on my birthday, May 18th that year. You know, Lord Fubu, shout out Lord Fubu, he produced both of them EPs. And them shits just was getting a lot of love, man. And then, like, in the midst of all of that, fuck around, I shoot a video for Curious, drop Curious, and Pusha T ends up premiering it. You know what I'm saying? That shit was huge. Like, that definitely is probably, as of now, one of my, like, top accomplishments. You know what I mean? Because it's Pusha T. Yeah, I mean, listen. And I'm from Virginia. Yeah, so that hits home, honestly. Yeah, it was a full circle moment, man. And I remember I seen Pusha T at MacArthur Mall in Norfolk, because I lived in Norfolk before too. I remember seeing him with Virginia, with his wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember seeing him and, like, just being young as hell. Like, oh, what's up, Pusha? Like, the nigga just was like, what's good? Da, 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 da. And that shit stuck with me. Like, oh, he not no Hollywood nigga. Okay, cool. And then I met Malice, like, a couple years after that, while I had a show at A3C. Me and my nigga Tokyo Trans, we run into him, and we was doing, at the time, I think we was about to do a documentary with Play Clothes or some shit like that. So that's they shit, you know what I mean? They started that. So we telling Malice, like, yo, they got us in this Play Clothes documentary, fuck with us, da, 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 da. And nigga was just showing hella love, taking mad pictures, talking to us and shit. Like, it was cool, man. So that was just full circle for me. Like, damn, like, I done met both of these niggas, and now Pusha premiering my fucking video through his label at that. So it was huge. I mean,
I think honestly it goes back to, like we said earlier, like that pullback, that, you know, seeing and that recognition, it makes you want to keep going. It makes you want to perfect it. Just to know, like, some of the people you grew up with are recognizing you. You know, just a small, you know, feature or whatever, just things that it opens the door, because then it's like, you could go back later and really get something popping and be like, oh yeah, I remember when I did that for you. Boom, I got you with this. Or they put you in a room where it's like, hey, that person, you gotta tap in with that because it fetches your style. So, nah, that right there, I think, honestly, truly is the driving force, and you should always keep that with you, to keep going and keep seeing that, because you are getting that love that a lot of people either A, will make you believe they have, or B, are still coveting so heavy because they're not getting those looks with that. So it's definitely a driving force.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, I'm like before I get too off topic, like I'm a hungry dude. Like I'm real driven. You know what I'm saying? That's just something like my folks installed in me. So it was a point in time, man. I used to be doing shit, but I don't really feel like I was really grateful with that shit.
Yeah.
Like I was doing shit that like now I'm able to sit in this seat and be like, damn nigga, you already made history in a sense. But you know what I'm saying? Just me always striving and wanting more for myself. It's like I would do one thing and be on to the next, on to the next. So one thing I can say over the years, like I'm kind of being more like appreciative of myself. Like as crazy as that sounds, but I'm just like,
it's a true thing. A lot of people don't.
Now I'm sitting back like, damn, you a bad motherfucker. Like if motherfuckers thought I was feeling like that before,
you done messed up.
I think now I'm really sitting back like,
damn,
nigga, you going off. Like my latest project, Lord Malone, you know what I'm saying? I dropped that after the Just Vibe EPs came out, and like even with the release of that, like
you know that's an iconic cover, right?
Thank you, bro. My man Steve God painted that, the Lord Malone cover.
Yeah, that's a good cover. You that's one thing. You have very eye-popping covers in the way that you choose that.
Thank you.
And that's one of the things for me draws me into a project, just to see a visual, and then it's like if your music matches the cover you've given me, it ties it all in for me. But
I about to say usually I make the music first, so it's like it's like a formula. Like I'll make the music, you know what I'm saying, and once it's done, and I like sync with it, got it in order and shit, I get an overall vibe for it, and you know what I'm saying. That's usually like normally I come up with the title by the middle of the project, whatever feeling I'm getting for it. That's when I normally get the project. Like Lord Malone came about because it was just like, bro, I'm really like, you know, I'm a God-fearing man, but when it comes to this craft, this profession, this sport, I really feel like I'm elite, you know what I'm saying? And it was just a feeling at that time, like, just like, bro, like, I can't be stopped. Like, this is just my time. I feel it, like, you know what I'm saying? Fresh off of Pusha T premiering the video, it was just like, man, Lord Malone, this is what it is. That's why I ain't even rushing to drop another full length right now, because I'm letting that bitch ride out. I feel like niggas gotta hear that. I done dropped several videos off of it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it shit's.
And I think there's something to be said with that, because sometimes there's one thing that we don't do now is, even consumers, we don't live with enough stuff. We honestly hear something, we'll like it for, you know, whenever the next thing come out, and then we'll forget, and then, you know, when they do these lists at the end of the year, or when they do these things, we'll be like, oh yeah, but that came out, and then it's like people get overlooked for that. But the best way to do that is to have people live with projects, to have people really sit with them, and in a lot of ways it makes them want to hear what you're gonna do after that, because they start to get into that groove of like, damn,
you make them miss you.
Hey, like he ain't dropped nothing in about a couple, and crazy enough, they'll start missing you 2-3 weeks after your project if it's that dope. They'll start wanting to want more. So that's one of the things where I think you really do a good job with it, because there's a fine line to play with that. You got to know when to drop it. You also got to know when to hold it. And the fact that you now have seen that, okay, I'm hitting y'all over the head with a lot of this stuff, but now I need y'all to start recognizing what I'm doing and start living with these projects, I think is going to be able to put you in that other sphere, because now you want to start playing the Miss Me game. Now
this the first year I even started considering playing the Miss Me game, bro.
You got,
like, I've dropped music every year. There hasn't been a year that you haven't got a mixtape from Bucky Malone since 2000 and shit, nigga, I want to say 8. Bro, like,
I want people to understand what he just said. He said there has not been a year since 2008 that you have not gotten music from this man. Some of y'all favorite artists don't even do that to y'all.
And I would confidently say, since 2008 to 2021, I've given motherfuckers a hit since 2011 every year. If not one, more than one every year. It's not too many niggas that can say that shit. I was thinking about getting a little video, putting that shit together.
You should. That's not.
You remember this? You remember this? You remember this? You remember this?
Yeah, that's over 10 years. You should.
Because niggas definitely be forgetting, like, bro. I was finding out about other industry rappers because I was getting on blogs and niggas was comparing me to them. Like, I found out about A$AP Rocky because I made, like, and this is like, I'm not saying this was the biggest blog ever who said this shit. Like, I'm just saying, like, it used to be random shit that I would catch. And I just remember I had a single called Sprinkles. That was like my first music video.
Okay. That
shit made it to the top DMV songs, top 30 DMV songs of like 2010, 2011 or some shit. Bro, I was over Wale That Way, featuring Jeremiah. Nigga, that was my shit. That Maybach album, that was my shit, nigga.
Listen.
I'm like, nigga, I don't even deserve to be about this shit. Who put me over at Wale?
That's one of the strongest ones because I think that's another thing people forget, and it goes back to that source thing. That blog era and that source and entitlement era is one of those things where you really allowed people to have an opinion, but it had to be, I don't want to say verified, but it had to come with an actual argument. Right. It couldn't have just been said like, oh, I just like this song better under the guidance of preference. Nah, like they really had to have a detailed response or a detailed reason, as I say, to put you over that way. Because I'm going to keep it a being. That way is, to this day, is still nice.
You feel what I'm saying?
It's that MMG albums, the first one, the second one, and the third one.
I want to say Lex Luger made that beat.
I probably did.
Shout out Lex Luger.
Yeah, them. Whew. Wow.
Funny story. I ain't gonna say no names, but one of my homies had that song before Wale had that shit. Mm-hmm. It was supposed to be him and Trell on it, but they took too long or some shit.
That happened. How does that work now? Like, have you ever had something and been like, damn, I let that rock?
Nah, I've had producers have sent me beats and then like sent the same beats to other niggas type of shit. Like that shit used to happen a lot back in the day, but it don't really happen like that no more. They already know what I'm gonna do. Because
I know there's a lot of artists say that like I was supposed to be on that jump.
Once I get a beat now, it's like it's no turning back. Yeah. You already know. No, I mean, who the fuck? What you gonna do with it?
I done put my whole imprint on his head.
Yeah, but I mean, back in the day, motherfuckers used to hit me with that. Send me a beat, I'll be excited. Next thing you know, I hear another nigga with a song to it. I just be like.
So there was two things I wanted to tap your brain about. The first being. Overall, I'm pretty sure you're aware of the B-Dot list of everybody so far. He did a top 10 rapper list of what he felt the most active rappers so far of the year.
You said the who list?
B-Dot.
B-Dot? Oh, yeah. Okay.
And who he put on that list was Lil Baby. He put Jim Jones at 10. Obviously, I can't remember the order.
Jim Jones at 10?
You remember if you got the order?
I respect that.
Please give that jump to me, because the only reason I know is because I know you, and from our personal talks just off, you like hip hop like I do, and I know for me, I didn't necessarily have a problem with who he said. Obviously,
What's the list? What's the list?
It's the list. That's what I'm about to say. I think E about to find the list right now for us.
I don't even think I'm still chipping off B-Dot and Mano, man.
Yeah, that was it.
He got Lil Baby, J. Cole.
And this for right now?
Yeah, so far, yep.
Lil Baby, J. Cole, Lil Wayne, Conway the Machine, Benny the Butcher, Drake, Freddie Gibbs, Nas, Jay-Z, Jim Jones.
Okay.
And that was a little personal. It sounds like a little personal favorite mix, but there's some names on there that I agree with.
So here's the thing, and I think being from New York, we have this thing where it is called New York bias. A lot, and because in New York bias, I need people to understand we don't mean from the area. We mean in the style of rap. Right. Because if you think about it, there are only 2 artists on there that are from New York. Yeah. Well, 3, excuse me. But a lot of those other artists either play the South game or they play the boom bap game.
Right.
I have no problem with the list idea.
Right.
My only issue is the gauges that B-Dot uses sometimes overlook certain people. Like, for example, I think Jim should be higher on that list. I think Nas should be higher on that list. I honestly, as much as I am a Jay-Z fan, I don't think he should be on that list.
He should not.
I understand Drake. It has to be on every list. It's Drake. Do I like that?
Like Drake gotta be on every
but list. I don't think he should be on that one.
Because he's already. They still giving LeBron MVP every fucking year.
No,
even if he is putting those numbers
not.
up.
Exactly, they're not.
The game wouldn't be.
But he ain't dropped. Exactly. So that's the gauge part. Wayne should, but not as high. Baby was first, right? Lil Baby. So he definitely goes there. Who was second on that one?
J. Cole. That makes sense.
J. Cole makes sense, but here we're saying, are we saying that in time? Because now J. Cole didn't drop nothing.
He dropped
besides the project. That's what I'm saying. So if he didn't drop that project,
then
you see what I'm saying. So now I'm saying, are you putting him second in
just because he dropped it?
Just because he in his second. So that's why I said I know how you feel, and especially that '90s. Like, let's keep the names as they are.
You got to keep it kind of like split between the actual music and from what the actual people are saying. Like, fuck what you think. Like, it's a lot of niggas that I think is hard, but I won't throw names out just for my personal favor. Like, it's more so like the niggas that you're gonna really hear in these streets, names you're gonna constantly hear. Like, to tell you the truth, I don't know if I can give you a top 10 off the head, but if I can give you a top 5, probably like them niggas right now and this shit, like, and I'm an artist, so
Yeah,
like,
so yeah.
I can say this shit, like, I know, like, paying attention, just observing everybody's reaction.
All right, so with the list, I know because you said with the whole, you couldn't name 10, but with the 5 that you see as an artist, who would be those 5 that you would pick, honestly, truly?
Shit. This is my personal list versus the actual 5.
Okay.
My personal list right now, and there's no order, there's just 5
Yeah.
motherfuckers that I'm fucking with. I say Young Thug,
Okay.
Lil Uzi, Gunna, Freddie Gibbs. Yeah, I gotta throw Freddie Gibbs in there. And I'm gonna say Benny the Butcher.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw Benny the Butcher.
Rounded out with
That's my
Benny.
5th pick.
I respect that list. I know for me personally,
That's the personal list.
Yeah, that's the personal.
If I'm going off the like actual like numbers don't lie, shit, like the people like what the masses are going to say, like the people's list, like the people's choices. Obviously, the Baby, Lil Baby, Lil Durk, the Baby, and shit, Future.
I know for me, and we talk
NBA YoungBoy at the 6th man too.
We talk about that a lot, and that's what I was gonna say. Like, I want people to start understanding that personal versus what we see the masses like need to start being more like separated. For example, for my personal list, all 3 Griselda members go in there. Lil Baby goes in there, and also for me personally, Freddie Gibbs goes in there too.
Yeah,
that's my personal list.
Freddie.
But for masses wise, I agree with everything because boom bap no longer runs the culture in that way.
Nah.
It's more so of a trap vibe.
Yo, producers, make boom bap beats come alive again, bro. I've been asking producers for boom bap shit, and these niggas been looking at me like, bro,
you know why? Because
they just been like, no.
Who knows how to make them? You gotta think about it. Like, that's a boom bap beat is harder to make than a lot of the other beats. Like, we were just talking about off air with the West Side stuff. Like, a lot of that is instrumentals. It's real instrumentation when you make a boom bap beat and you build the beat.
Niggas was using like MPCs and shit, all of that.
Like, I tell people, the best boom bap album is Nas's first album because you hear every beat being built and you hear the instrumentation in that. Like,
Q-Tip on that shit too.
Have y'all ever, like, I just ask people, just listen to the instrumental of any 90s R&B album. Like, whether it be a RZA, Premier, Q-Tip, all of that.
Perfect example right there.
And you'll hear how instrumentations work. Now, this is no disrespect to some of ours because I love an Alchemist beat. I love a Madlib beat. I love who does Griselda's beats? Derringer. Yeah. Like, I fuck with those shits. I even fuck with some of the young niggas as far as like Metro Boomin and shit like that. 21 Savage and his producer. Like, I fuck with that shit. Young Nudie picks good beats as well. But it's a difference. And I think that's something to be said. But I bring that up because as much as I love B-Dot lists, I realize that a lot of his lists are just to get the conversation going. A lot of his lists are just to make you think and to have it. Because, again, he got the reaction that he wanted. And, you know, Jim said it best. He was like, yo, you put me in a booth with any of these niggas, we can go toe-to-toe. And that's the type of hip-hop that I like. I like competitiveness. I like that in everything. I think competitive spirit brings out the best in anybody.
I feel like the most standout pick on B-Dot list, though, probably was Jim Jones. Because I personally feel like out of all the artists that was kind of like around since I was a youngin' till now, Jim Jones is probably one of the few that has improved as a lyricist since he first entered the game till now. Like, you put on a Jim Jones record now, like, that shit is
you gotta think, technically, what we got out of Jim were party records. You know, like We Fly High,
he was the cool nigga, the cool hype nigga.
Hype, you know what I'm saying? But now, Jim talking. Jim is saying he talking to people next. And the crazy part about it is I tell people, like, it made sense that Jim moved this way because Jim got a chance to learn. He got a chance to see it. You know, when you come from being next to people like Cameron and Joel's, like, you're going to pick up on stuff. Rockefeller and all that. Like, you're going to be in those rooms and you're going to be like, okay, all right, I see what they doing. Okay, I see how he, like it's a mental note at that
Like
point.
he dropped, what did he drop? Wasted Talent?
Yes.
That was an album or mixtape?
So the technical joint he did with the last project he did, which is with Conway and all of them, that's his EP. But the Wasted Talent joint is considered a mixtape. It's just on digital.
I was like, yo, what in the fuck? Like, I hate to say it. I ain't even gonna say that.
Yeah.
I can't say that.
Even
I was gonna say some controversial shit. I ain't gonna say that.
Even more recent, what Lloyd Banks did with his new album. Like,
that nigga never lost it though.
He never lost.
Banks has always been Banks. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah, he's always been that nigga. I fuck with Lloyd Banks.
It does. So that's why I tell people, like, when you think about the scope of what we could do with these lists, and we could really like put it toe to toe. Even the young that's coming up, they would still have more to prove because the old heads are starting to say like, nah, I can still come out here and cha-cha with y'all. I can still come out here and make y'all dance. You know what I'm saying? We could have lyrical venom. And so that's why I just ask artists, what that, because I think artists are the best judges. Almost like with basketball, I think players are the best, judges, or any sport. I think people in that field should be the ones asked about, well, who in y'all field is doing it, because y'all see it, y'all are aware of it, y'all have to listen to it at some degree because you got to still keep up. It's a never-ending battle of keeping up with the times, but also standing out, understanding where the game is going, but seeing when you can take it to another level or taking it in a different way. So I appreciate your list first and foremost because it's a well-rounded list.
I try to be both of them. Try to be fair,
and it's one of those things like me and E always say on the show, like, it's common sense. Like, you got to understand what the people listen for, and every person on this earth is not going to like the same thing.
No.
When it comes to that, but there are some things where you can say, okay, I can see why.
Exactly.
I can see why you're there. Because for me personally, I don't listen to NBA YoungBoy, and I'm probably now starting to listen to Lil Baby. And Gunna used to sound like Thug to me, but now that I actually like sat down with their projects, I respect what they're doing. I understand why the kids like it.
Right.
I understand what it comes from. But I would say, before we close out and wrap out, just moving forward, like, what can we expect? What's coming out? What should people be looking out for when it comes to Bucky Malone and the things he's about to do in these upcoming months and weeks in this new year that's approaching?
Oh man, definitely more music. You know what I'm saying? I just dropped a new visual, Hell's Angel, that's on YouTube right now.
Sure
Moody shot that. Moody done shot like a lot of my videos. He done shot like the last like 9 videos and shit. You know what I mean? So shout out Moody, Sickle Worldwide. You know what I'm saying? They done shot all of my shit. So man, just more visuals, more singles. I think I'm gonna see how the people feeling. Give y'all some new singles, man, and then give y'all some new shit, give y'all new projects.
Any shows or like small tour dates on the way?
Yeah, outside, I had some virtual. I had another virtual setup because I've been doing the virtual concert shit. I did two virtual concerts with Songbird, and one with The Pocket and 7 Drum City, and all 3 shows was fucking successful.
Yeah.
I never did no virtual shows until then, so it was just a fulfilling moment for me. But now that everything is opening back up, that kind of got the pressure on venues to figure out what the fuck they finna do.
They gotta recoup.
I got a few dates being, rescheduled and shit like that. But hey, man, I'm about to be outside real soon. Make sure y'all fuck with me for real. We back outside. We marching again, baby.
All right, well, again, as always, like I said, I appreciate you for coming through. I appreciate you sitting down and talking with us, man. Hey, all success. We definitely gonna support you in any way we can. And like I said, it's been another episode of Never Hip a Lane Podcast. Appreciate Bucky for coming through, man. See y'all next week.
Never Hip a Lane Podcast.